begun. The crossover event of December has started. Impact Wrestling AEW. So I watched Impact Wrestling in full just to see additional details, to see more about the AEW crossover event they're doing. That hopefully will last a little bit longer, but I see it just lasting till the end of December to end off 2020, because it's been said that 2020's final episode, Dynamite, is going to end off with a big episode. No idea what those contexts are, but that's the rumor that's been going around. Another thing that popped up in the news was that Tony Khan, along with Tony Schiavone, were going to show up on AEW Dynamite and address certain things. And then he showed up on Impact. No, wait. Man, why did I keep saying Dynamite too many times? Anyways, I just like saying it. Sorry. So it was announced by, I believe, Hill by Nature, that's where I saw it, was that Impact Wrestling was going to be visited by Tony Khan, the president of AEW, and along with Tony Schiavone. The Tonys are coming. And this is what I like. So I was saying this on Twitter about the report, that I was like, okay, good, because it is interesting. I could hope that they're not going for a generic evil authority figure, because WWE, WCW will burn that to the ground. And then TNA did it, and that failed miserably. But I was thinking when I heard this was, okay, this is good. We got something here. Like I feel like, since if they're gonna go with an elite general manager down the road, since to help promote the game, they're gonna have Tony Khan be that guy that comes in and resolves more of the bigger disputes, the external affairs of the company, or when there's a major controversial decision being made on TV and the general manager can't fix it. That's why I feel like Tony Khan's use of power should be involved, where Tony Khan shows up on TV only for those big moments. Much like how Triple H and NXT did it, before Triple H just vanished off NXT because Vince didn't want him on NXT, because Triple H it's supposed to be a villain, not a good guy. But the NXT audience don't care about that. They only see Triple H as the savior of the WWE. Too bad the things have changed since Vince McMahon took a more active role in NXT after the Wednesday Night War was set in motion. So blame Vince for all that. You don't blame AEW for doing their own thing and then Vince having a hissy fit about it. So, yeah. One of the things that was brought up was Tony Khan and Tony Schiavone showed up in a paid advertisement where they go ahead and do this passive-aggressive attitude towards Impact while promoting AEW Dynamite, like good. And then they go ahead and mention how Tony Schiavone was in AEW, in Impact for a time, then quit the business for 18 years, which was a shot at them, because I think that was the last time he was there in wrestling before he came back to AEW and all that. It's just funny that all this continuity is coming in. I love the shared universe that AEW is finally letting come back to wrestling with all this. Well, New Japan really started when they started working with all these other promotions, but then now we get more crossover events. I'm loving it. So to see it more on a much bigger platform, oh yeah, that's definitely helping. So Tony Khan gives these passive aggressive attitudes about how he's how there's been rumors about him buying Impact Wrestling. I don't know if those are true, and Tony Khan's just trying to stroke his massive ego and play the I have more money than you guys do. But that wasn't all. So they were announcing this event over and over and over. Keep the hype train going, since the Twitch stream was apparently crashing. The Twitch stream on the chat side was crashing, and there were 6,000 people growing, and AEW's re-premiering and TNT's and Impact Wrestling is re-premiering the current episode on their YouTube channel, and that has nearly 5,000 viewers last I checked. So yeah, this was at the time of this production. So this was after Impact just ended on AXS and Twitch. So that's telling how much this is a big deal for Impact, because they need to milk it for all they can. And this crossover event is probably going to help them bigger. And now they set up some potential storylines. So Final Resolution might be an interesting route they could go with. if they go that route, where Rich Swann is trying to leave and only be stopped by a security guy saying that the champion has the parking lot blocked off with his authority. Rich Swann initially assumes, oh, it's Moose, because Moose is currently going into playing a Delusions of Grigio, saying he's the real champion because he is the TNA Impact World Champion, whereas Impact Wrestling is not called TNA anymore and it's the old TNA belt. So that happened. So he's initially pissed and just ranting about how Moose is just trying to kill all the fun. But the guy says, no, I don't mean that guy. I mean the AEW champion, Kenny Omega. And I was like, oh, you're teasing it now. Now they're setting some seeds in. Rich Swann versus Kenny Omega? Okay, that's going to be interesting if they go that route, especially what happened in the interview. So Josh Matthews comes out. He's going ahead saying, it comes to the door where the security guy is and says, hey, I'm here for the interview to interview Kenny Omega with Don Callis. As the security guy says, you're on the list, go. Oh, Rich Swann tries to make a move to get out, but the security guard blocks his path and he's just pissed. So yeah, something tells me that Rich Swann may be showing up on Dynamite in the near future, hopefully, to, get some measure of payback and say he's the real champion. Because they're going that route. When you have multiple world champions running around, you're going to have that bashing up, I'm the real champion. No, I'm the real champion. No, I am the real champion. Except this is more than just WWE doing an inter-brand company crossover. And whereas there's two legitimate big companies, moderately big companies, making a lot of headlines. So yeah, you're going to have the main company's belt take on the other main company's belt instead of having a brand belt versus brand belt. And that's the thing I'm excited to see, hopefully, between Rich Swann and Kenny Omega, if they go that route. So Josh enters the bus and sits down but tries to look for Kenny and Don. Josh then is able to go ahead and they mockingly mock Jon Moxley, and switch out the nameplate right in the middle of the interview. And Josh goes over what happened Wednesday before asking Don and Kenny how long this panel's been in the works. So they say how this has been going on for 27 years. About how Kenny's uncle, the Golden Sheik, was trained to Don Callis when, he went with Cyrus the Virus in ECW. I didn't even know that. I was like, there's something about Don Callis that seems familiar. I looked at it. I couldn't put my finger on it, so I did some extra research, and I found out, wait, that's Cyrus the Virus? From ECW? Wow, he never gave up on the Network Wars. So, yeah, relic of the old era is coming in doing radically different things, and Impact mocks the trope of marriage angles because they did a segment where they did a literal murder segment where they said, well, you dodge that trope. So they're self-aware. They're doing the fourth wall. They've broken the fourth wall and all that. So they go ahead and bring up Impact, the time of Kenny Omega's run in New Japan. That's kind of inevitable to talk about, especially when Don Callis was in New Japan as their commentator. And Don says they set the course of history right when Kenny took the title from Jon Moxley, before Josh asked if what happened tarnished their legacy. Kenny is pissed, obviously. Don Callis is pissed hearing that, and reverses the roles and asks Josh what would he do if someone attacked a man he saw as his father, a family member, an uncle. Kenny says that John broke the gentleman's agreement when he attacked Don, and that he took revenge on John for what he did, before talking about how he's on the list of top matches anywhere in the world. Well, Kenny gets very agitated and says that they're there because they can. They live in style, the bus. And Kenny goes on to talk about how he's collected comics for years and years and years, and how he constantly wants to get the best, coolest comics ever. And then I was thinking when I heard this, he was going to say JLA/Avengers, just to reference a crossover event, a intercompany crossover event, inter-universal comic crossover event. That would have been hilarious. But he goes on referencing Action Comics #1, the original comic that debuted Superman. Superman, you believe that a man can fly. And I was honestly still hoping he would say, uh, the iconic the last crossover event between JLA between Marvel and DC. That would have been hilariously great. And plus, I was thinking that when I heard this, because this is an awesome moment for a lot of people to see a company crossover event storyline going on. And I was all for it. I was engaged. I was watching. I haven't done that in a long time, unless it's Roman Reigns and his heel run, and only a select few. Like, hell, I don't even do that for Paul Heyman when he was managing Brock Lesnar, because it was starting to get stale. It felt the same. Paul Heyman comes out, respects his opponents, respects Brock Lesnar, praises Brock Lesnar, Suplex City, and it just got stale. And like, can you add anything else to Lesnar's character, or is that it? So yeah, there's not a lot of things that got me engaged with the TV and the internet when I was watching this 10-minute interview, because it did go on for 10 minutes. It started at 9:48 and ended at the end of the show, so that was awesome. Kenny then goes on and says that he loves traveling and collecting titles, before saying that he had to leave to make their way to Jacksonville for the coming Dynamite tomorrow night. But he did tease some other belts he might be interested in collecting titles of. And one of them is the Impact title. Oh boy, that probably will piss off Rich Swann. If you thought he was pissed off before, you're probably seeing him more pissed off now. So now it seems that, yeah, he's after the world title of Impact Wrestling. So let's see if anything goes down at this coming pay-per-view event for TNA and Impact Wrestling. Yeah, I know it's called Impact Wrestling, not TNA, but I can't help but call it that, because that's how I got started with Impact. Like, it took forever for me to accept WWE instead of WWF. Uh, so yeah, Kenny Omega and Don Callis are going to do some crazy things, I think. And if this does continue a crossover between now and if Impact does enough viewership, they'll probably want to extend an agreement to keep a partnership going. I could honestly see this coming in either a joint pay-per-view venture, or they're gonna do a special crossover trade-in stuff where they trade some wrestlers to like some go to Impact, some go to AEW, and I could honestly hope that we see an intercompany crossover pay-per-view event. That would be fun, and all hell, it will be great. And they could add real legitimate stakes, especially the best in the world thing. Like, maybe if AEW wins, if AEW scores more wins, they get to take one of their talents for a period of 6 months. I would honestly love that, and vice versa. If Impact wins, there's so much awesome potential in this, and I am looking forward to every moment of it. Kenny Omega has ascended from the cleaner, the best bat machine. He has now become the traitor of professional wrestling for some in this storyline, because now Don Callis is the invisible hand and is controlling the scenery and controlling Kenny Omega and influencing him and using their friendship and family bond to create more attention and controversy, trying to bring Kenny Omega back to his darker roots, the cleaner, the one who would willingly backstab people he cared about, willingly sell out his friends and do things to that you would be like, man, how do you forgive this guy? Like he did to Kota Ibushi for a time when he went to Bullet Club. Ugh. I am excited to see what they bring. This Impact AEW crossover event, I am looking forward to it. I cannot wait what they bring to the table. I am going to love it. I'm probably gonna love it. I'm probably not gonna have that much complaints unless they screw up very majorly. But the fact that this is actually happening in this day and age, when so many companies, like, while New Japan does it still with so many promotions, and there are, but not like on a scale, but not like if you had it in Japan, I'd be saying the same thing. I'd be saying it'd be on this scale, but it never happens but you never see this, like, say, on a consistent basis. Like New Japan doesn't do a weekly television show. they do big events and they all do it on the New Japan World thing. They had AXS TV, but then when they said no, we're not working with Impact since you bought them, in exchange for what, our freedoms? No way, we're not doing that. Yeah, that's why I keep saying Impact probably will not directly work with Impact. Why New Japan will never want to work with Impact because of Kota Ibushi. They can't let that go. So yeah, you're gonna have to take what you will with that. But I am excited to what they could bring. There's some rumor going around that it might have Kota Ibushi showing, not Kota Ibushi, Kenta showing up being the culprit that attacked John Moxley and taking the U.S. title. I'm hoping something big goes down for the next coming weeks for the rest of December. Let's end 2020 with some positivity in wrestling, in my opinion. I cannot wait what Kenny Omega's big announcement. Like, they tease the Lex Express, which means where he goes across the country. So are they going that route? Are they having Kenny travel to all the other promotions and take their titles like Austin Aries did, where he became the belt collector? Because I will honestly love it, especially since it's Kenny Omega. He's more professional than Austin Aries was at the end of all this. Like, oh god, that stuff with him was insane. As you can tell, I'm very excited for this. So those were my thoughts of Kenny Omega's betrayal and the Kenny Omega Don Callis interview. We'll see. We're in the races now. We're gonna see some big stuff going on. I am looking forward to it. You should all be looking forward to it. Hopefully, if you're a fan of the outside of the WWE stuff, there's going to be a lot of big things I see coming. And if this partnership continues past their first storyline, I'm going to enjoy every moment of it because there's a lot of potential for the talent, for the stories they could tell. If they get more promotions on board to do a huge conglomerate collective event, I will be all for it. We could probably get a sequel to All or Nothing. Seriously, I'm waiting for them to make an announcement where they call All or Nothing the event. Because if they can get more promotions, like they got AAA, they're gonna probably get Impact if things go well. They got NWA on their side. If they can get New Japan Pro Wrestling, if they can get some other promotions on board, some of the smaller promotions to have a talent exchange, they can do another all in event show where they have all these promotions working together and producing this event. Like, there's a lot of chances here to be made, and I'm gonna love every moment of it. So let's see where this storyline goes. Let's see where this whole angle goes because it's gonna be insane, and I'm going to enjoy it. So this was Neo Reality at the WrestleVerse. First, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. Check out all my other channels and check out my videos. It was all across the YouTube platform. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe. I already said that. Sorry, I'm just very excited. Stay tuned for more, and I'll see y'all next time. Take care.